All right, Jeff, we laugh, we have fun all the time, but there's serious issues in the world, and we're getting some of those too. We've got two great guests. At a moment when anti-Semitism, racism, and hate are on the rise, we've got two Philadelphia leaders bringing together the universal languages of food and sport. Professional basketball player and JAB founder Jared Armstrong has partnered with James Beard Award-winning chef Michael Solomonov and Federal Donuts and Chicken to create the limited edition JAB Donut. Why don't we welcome to the show, and then we'll let them talk about everything. Jared Armstrong, Michael Solomonov, welcome, and thanks for giving us some time today.
Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah, how are you?
Look, when this came through as the invite, it was like, yes, please. We would definitely like to talk to you. You have a collaboration that's leading into the JAB Classic, $1 million international basketball tournament that's going to take place this weekend at the Palestra. How did the two of you connect, and when did you realize the shared larger mission that you have?
Yeah, I mean, I think me and Mike connected probably 2-3 years ago. We got a lot of mutual friends, in our world, and it took us a while to connect. And I think we just hit it off. I'm a regular at his restaurant, so I think that's one one thing of how I see him regularly. And his kids came to my basketball camp, the JAB camps that we have in the summer that they really enjoy. And ever since then, we just always stay in touch. And when I had an idea 2 years ago to bring this idea to fruition, and thinking of ways of what brings people together. Obviously music, obviously sports, and obviously food. And how can we collaborate with different people in the ecosystem that believe in what JAB is about. And Mike, I felt, was a no-brainer and a staple that Federal Donuts has built. And there's never been a donut to combat hate or unify the world as the symbol. So I thought it'd be cool, first of its ever kind, and hope for many more.
Okay, so you guys came up with the donut. Tell us how it came about and what donut it is.
So we came up with two. One is a raspberry. You got to ask Mike about the raspberry one. I'm more of the buttercream, I believe, that we like, the buttercream flavor that we made. That's really good. They'll be selling them at the arena. They're actually on sale now. So we ask all people to just buy and support if they like. But they're both going to be a sale at the arena. Really tasty donuts. I try not to eat them because I can get fat too easily. So, but other than that, I don't know where in the world you guys are, but if you're close by Philly, I suggest you grab one.
Oh, we will be grabbing them. We'll be joining you Friday night at the dinner, which we'll talk about later. Mike, why don't you talk a little bit about the jelly donut, because we can't let that go without the details.
No, yeah. So it's a raspberry and white chocolate donut, and then we've got the other one, which is more sort of birthday cake vibe. But yeah, I was just thinking, like, Jared should do also restaurant PR with all of his free time. And yeah, I mean, we're excited to participate. I think Jared is just a really special person, and the idea that we can support and be involved and just sort of be part of the weekend is great.
The thing about this idea that excited us both is we have people on the show all the time to talk about how they use their platforms to help their communities. And from our aspect, a lot of what we talk about is sports. So for Jared, you're bringing people together through sports, which is something that we talk about all the time. And Michael, you're bringing people together through food, which people don't initially think of, but those two communities bring people together. What made you think that now, almost like nuclear making it by just having food and sports together?
Yeah, I mean, I think athletes love food. I think that's just a no-brainer. If you look at the NBA, most guys are going to restaurants after games, before games, even playing internationally in Israel. We went out to eat after every game. That was just a ritual. So I think just athletes and sports, obviously we got to take care of our bodies, and nutrition is the biggest piece. So I think just collaborating on that front, food is a no-brainer. It's something everybody needs to kind of nourish their body. So, when I thought of this idea, most athletes are unhealthy eaters. I can be one of them to say so. But, people love donuts. Who doesn't really love them? And again, Mike and them have built an incredible brand and a staple in Philly. And I thought it'd be something dope, to really create and do.
Jeff actually, it's funny. Jeff got me to watch Somebody Feeds Phil for this episode, Michael, that you were on. And in it, you said that you described food as the great connector. Why is food and eating such an important part of community?
I think that the ritual, I think that especially in this day and age, everybody is so, we are getting push notifications for absolutely everything. There are so many reasons to not to have sort of physical contact or emotional contact with one another. And I think when you eat, you kind of have to put, or you should put your phone down. You should be at a table. You should be sharing things. And I feel like um, it's a way to sort of calm. It's a way to have something sort of unified. It's sort of like an act of being together. And again, I just think that, in restaurants, we say this all the time, like we are this respite for the stress for kind of the rest of the world, and I think that between getting bombarded with social media updates, with sort of news articles, and with text, like there are so many reasons to be distracted and distraught. I think food is really the last sort of human interaction that we have with our community all the time, and so to be part of it and to sort of participate again in what Jared is doing, which is combating hate, I think this is like a really good entree into that, no pun intended. And yeah, I don't know. I've got three little kids, and to be able to have time where people are not distracted, where our family is together, where we can sit and eat. And I'm like I do this professionally. It is so challenging. And so I think that like around the table is one of the last great hopes of this.
Jared, this is more than a donut for you. This is your livelihood at this point. Your camps are doing so much good in the community. How did you come up with the idea of camps, and how did living in different cultures? Not only have you lived here in the Philadelphia area, but you've also now spent time in Israel. How has living in different cultures impacted what you want to do and what you are doing with the camps, and how you want to grow this beyond just the camps?
Yeah, I mean, I think just number one, in reality, most people live in a bubble, and I think just the times that we're in, and that how divided the world is. I think it's more important now than ever to try to bring people together. And like we said, when you think about what organically does that. When you're going to play basketball, you're not thinking of someone's skin color or where they're from. The ultimate goal of the game is to compete. And when you're on a team, you have to figure out ways to win. So I came up with this idea a couple years ago. I always loved camps. I always loved young kids. And I always wanted to find a way to obviously build a business and help the next generation. And then I always loved basketball. So I wanted to build something that I was super passionate about. And I think just it's a vehicle to really help kids not only through basketball, but also learn the other intangibles that we teach, which is about racism, anti-Semitism, anyism, really, Islamophobia, anti-Asian hate, LGBTQ. Teach about that, financial literacy, and nutrition, which are three things I feel no matter your skin color, you have to know. You got to know how to manage your money. You got to know how to be healthy individual. And everybody's going to deal with some racism or prejudice. So how do you deal with it, cope with it, and understand it?
And part of that is going to be this basketball tournament that we'll start with in a minute. But in the lead up to that basketball tournament, you guys had the idea of a Shabbat unity dinner. How did that come about, and what is your vision for that?
Yeah, I mean, we're doing it on a smaller scale now. We had a bigger plan, but I guess that's hopefully in the future. But for us, it was about just bringing people together to break bread and really get to understand and know each other. I think that's really important in today's times. And I think it was just a cool aspect to do it actually in the arena. Most people don't know the Palestra is the oldest arena in the world, most historical arena in the world, the Fenway Park of basketball. So being able for people to be able to experience that actual be in that atmosphere, and then also be able to watch a live performance in a game afterwards. We thought it would be really cool to just do so.
And Michael, you guys are doing the Shabbat dinner, but you've also connected with Borrowed Spotlight, which focuses attention on Holocaust survivors and their stories. What drew you to that project? And can you talk about why the Shabbat table is the right setting for this gathering?
Well, I mean, again, I think just to go back to what I said, to be able to sit down and sort of have this almost like mandatory time with your community and with your family and with friends, I think is really such a beautiful thing. I mean, I'm pretty secular. I also happen to work on Fridays and Saturdays most nights or most weeks. So whenever I have the opportunity, I think, to be at a Shabbat or to participate in Shabbat, it's really something special. And I think as Jared said too, to be able to have like sort of everybody sit and break bread and then play basketball at the Palestra. I mean, there's nothing else like this. Like this has never been done. Nothing has ever there's nothing like this at all. So to watch something like this form out of, Jared and we've been friends and close for a while, and I've like never seen anybody work as hard as Jared is right now. I don't even know how your eyes are open right now, Jared. I mean, he's really, really hustling and putting everything he has into this, and to watch this sort of dream and this outlandish vision really come to fruition has been really something special.
One of Borrowed Spotlight's messages that they carry is hate is survivable and difference is not. To both of you, actually, I guess Michael first, because you both use your platform and get a lot of feedback, positive and negative, and also indifference. What does indifference look like today, and when does remembrance need to become action like you've taken?
I think indifference is, I don't really know how to sort of rank, from best to worst. I think it is an extremely polarizing time. I think it is an extremely challenging time, and I think the way that everybody, particularly younger generations, are getting information is really sometimes troubling and concerning. um, I think that to be able to stand for the things that you believe in, um, and to kind of educate as much as possible. I mean, it's challenging when, you know, uh, I think the people want to either embrace or not embrace, other stories. So it's very like if somebody isn't really into this and doesn't want to hear it, that's fine. I think that it is very, very important for us to continue to tell the stories of things that matter to us as a people.
And Jared, how do you convey that to youth today? That their attention spans are different, the way that they consume information is different, the way that they communicate is different. So how have you found a method to kind of bridge that gap and get through to the youth the message that you want to impart upon them?
Yeah, I mean, I think everything comes on not only just about the education, but how you teach it. Like you can educate someone, but it's the way that you teach it to grasp their attention. And I think we have found really a lot of innovative teachers and educators that really do a lot of interactive activities with the kids. My biggest thing is just empathy, right? Everybody has struggles going on that nobody knows about, whether it's yourself, your family, your ancestors, everybody has a history here of remembrance. So for us, it's just kids not only getting educated, but number one, having empathy towards other people and understanding, to understand that everybody comes from a different background, different culture, a different language. And it's really just important of us on how it's taught, not always obviously important what is taught, but also how it is taught, because you can teach the greatest thing in the world, but if it's boring and you can't grasp their attention, it's just going out one ear and out the other.
All right, Jared, let's talk basketball on the court. Tell us about the
Sure.
tournament, 8 teams, each team representing the culture and stories of those communities. Talk about it.
Sure. Yeah, man. I mean, we got 8 teams from different cities. 2 teams are actually from Philly. We have a team from Texas, a team from Miami. We have a team from DC. We have a team from New York, New Jersey, and Orlando. So we have 8 different teams, come from 8 different cities. We have over 30 ex-NBA players that are playing. So the talent will be in the building. And it's really just coming to compete. I had this idea 2 years ago. I pitched it to an NBA owner, loved the idea. The problem was, when I started kind of doing the work, you're not gonna get this amount of talent for free. I think that the era of charity as far as basketball players and leveraging their platform, in my opinion, is over. I mean, if you look at the state of NIL, I think that has played a huge factor into, doing summer basketball tournaments. So we raised the capital, got a couple business partners, a couple other people that got involved, like Mike, and our thing was just, how can we really spread the message of combating hate and bringing people together from all different cultures to come under one roof and see great basketball. This is a dead period, not only in Philly, but around the globe for basketball. There is nothing going on. So for us, it was just using this opportunity of sports to bring people together, also see a mass amount of talent, and also give back to the community.
Jared, one other question. So you've spent time playing in Israel. Are you planning on going back?
No, my mom got really sick about a year ago. She had a traumatic brain injury. And I just kind of just she's the person that taught me basketball. She's in a Philly Hall of Fame for basketball. So I just kind of just took my career on a hay and building businesses. That's kind of where I'm at.
So now you guys are basically in the same business by building things. What's it
Yeah.
like for each of you? First Jared, and then Michael. What is it like to build something the way that Jared, the way that you are, and Michael, the way that you have over the course of your career?
I mean, I think the biggest thing for me is, you gotta, if you have high expectations for yourself, it's hard to hire people. So you do a lot of these things yourself, and Mike can probably tell you, probably hire and fire more than anything at the beginning. But I think once you find and build your team, skies are the limit. So I'm in the early stage of building. Mike's probably almost 20 years older than me. And for me, it's just, we're doing good. We're scaling one thing at a time. I have so many ideas, and we're an innovator. If you have a way that you want things to happen, it just takes time, and you got to be willing to accept that. So I've learned that, as my grandma used to say, good food to cook slow.
That
God, I love that. I love that. I'm gonna retire from cooking, and I'm gonna start professional basketball this year. So, we're gonna do a little
Playing or
switcheroo.
coaching?
And not neither. No, I would suck at both of
you
those
jumped
things. I'm
jumped
here.
ahead. I had the rapid fire of who'd be more comfortable in the other person's world, Michael on a basketball court or Jared in the kitchen.
Oh,
So
100% Jared in the kitchen. 100% Jared. I'll answer it for
But Michael, seriously, in owning and developing restaurants, it's not much different than a coach. You have to learn what people are good at. You have to find a way to communicate with them and treat them with respect. What is it like for you from the time that you started as a young chef to what you've developed now, and what lessons can you impart on people in the athletic world?
Well, I think that this sort of coach analogy is really, really good. I think it comes from a place of being really obsessive, and about the thing with restaurants is we are trying to exceed expectations. It's a hub for like 280 people with food, which is like the most subjective thing. And usually we don't know these people that well. So it's just this, striving for perfection, but also knowing that perfection doesn't really exist in this space. So to find, you have to be a certain kind of person to want to dedicate your life to this. And I think the other thing is, um, you get into cooking because you want to like light things on fire and not talk to people. And then when you own multiple, I mean, we have 400-ish employees now. And so it's mostly managing people, and this sort of juxtaposition between the guest and the team, and sort of trying to give everything you can to both sets of groups is really what my day-to-day is. And I think that I don't know, I mean, in terms of like bright ideas or mentorship, I think as long you sort of take yourself and your ego out of the equation as much as possible. And for me, that has been the most healthy and the most effective. I think that you spend a lot of time building teams, and we all make mistakes, and sometimes you just have to let let the team make a mistake and kind of figure it out, and realize that the only control or the job that I have to do is to sort of stay calm and to be really positive and to be there when people either make a mistake or give my suggestions. So it is very difficult to let go. It is very, and I can empathize entirely with where Jared is at right now, which is making everything happen on his own and realizing that, like, um, learning how to communicate with so many different kinds of people, especially in the fundraising world, which is like so hard, so hard. So, I think that really relinquishing control, and I think remaining calm is the name of the game.
This question I have for both of you is your names are synonymous with certain things, and you have decided, as we started this interview, to use your platforms to benefit the community. How important, Michael, is it for you first, and then Jared for you, to not only be able to give back and use that platform to benefit your community, but to encourage others that are in the same spaces to do the same?
I mean, I think it goes beyond the community. This is what we should be doing as human beings in this world. It is, we are in a world that needs a ton of repair. And I think it's our obligation as humans.
Yeah, I mean, same thing here. I mean, I think it's important to, I don't look at just community, just try to heal the world and make it a better place. And again, I think food and sports are two things that can do so and bring people together. And I just try to shine a light on it as much as possible and try to bring people along the way and motivate them to do so in their respective communities or environments.
Jeff asks the serious questions, and then I follow up with the very unserious ones. I had a friend growing up. Everything was a John, Michael. So when you were teaching Phil and Patton Oswalt about John, I found that absolutely hilarious. As an unofficial ambassador for the city, how would you define John? And can this donut be a John?
The donut can definitely be a John. Definitely a John. And I think that's it. It's sort of an object. And so the donut lines up perfectly with John.
And then I got to ask, or Jeff can ask, your involvement with the All-Star Game festivities. What was that like for you?
It was great. I mean, it was so much fun. It was so much fun. I think, Philly, we have this sort of tendency to always have great ideas and then follow through sometimes can be really difficult. The summer has been so wonderful. There's been so much excitement in the city. All Stars were great. FIFA was great. The 250, like there's just been a lot happening in Philly, and that has been exciting. We love showing off our city. And to do like sort of the cheesesteak competition. I mean, who doesn't like a good cheesesteak? And that was like really, really fun. And the winners were like, it was legitimately delicious. It was so good. Yeah, but it was great. I mean, it was really, really cool. I was with, my kids got to come and kind of see me judge, and they definitely know more about the athletes than I do. So anything I can do to make myself look cool in front of my kids,
Well, this interview has been about unity, but I am going to ask a divisive question, and it won't be to Jared, so I won't put him on the spot. Michael, I will.
Thanks a lot, Jeff.
That's right.
Don't worry, it's not about any political issues.
You grew up in Pittsburgh, so the question has to be, and you've now
made Philadelphia
Steelers or Eagles.
Why are you asking that?
Sorry, I gotta say Eagles, man. I gotta say Eagles. I'm
there
sorry.
You go.
I'm sorry to everybody. I know I'm not allowed back in Pittsburgh. I thought you were gonna ask whether I was an Aiello's or Minio's pizza person in Squirrel Hill, but which Aiello's all the way. But no, I've been in Philly longer than I've been anywhere else, and I played a little bit of baseball growing up, and my family had like a little bit of history. My grandfather was a jeweler. My great grandfather was a pretty famous jeweler in Pittsburgh, and so had all these relationships with athletes, and we grew up with amazing season tickets in Three River Stadium for both the Pirates and the Steelers. And my bar mitzvah was at Three River Stadium, but I was never really into football. I kind of liked baseball, but there was something about Philly. Like you drink the water here long enough. Like I was not even a sport. I mean, I'm now more of a sports fan, but I was like an Eagles fan, and then everything else kind of came with it. So I'm definitely the Eagles over Steelers.
It's hard to live here and not become a sports fan with everything that goes on. All right, guys, tell us how people can get involved, how they can support what you're doing, and get more information before we close.
Sure. I mean, www.jabclassic.com. Tickets are on sale. I mean, games start Friday at 1:30. We have 4 games Friday, 4 games Saturday, and a championship Sunday. Got players like the Morris twins, Trey Burke, Malik Beasley, Hano Ananoku, Paris Bass, Torrey Craig. I mean, the list goes kind of on and on of the amount of ex-NBA players we have. And then if you love basketball and want to see some of the best talent, that touched the basketball and played in NBA, suggest you be here for the weekend. So I'm not the best promoter for my event, but I would just say if you're looking to let's see high-level basketball, come and see the show.
And make sure you get your donuts, too.
Yep, and donuts will be in the arena if you want to buy one.
Guys,
wait.
Go ahead,
actually,
Jeff.
one last question that might be divisive. Are you going to have both donuts, and you're going to see which one sells more?
Oh,
We will have both donuts, I believe, and I know which one is going to sell
Jared,
more.
I know. I don't. I feel like
I
we've
don't.
already determined. Yeah, but that's what I mean, Jared. I think Jared might be at Zahav more than I am, and I definitely think he would make a better chef than me, athlete.
well,
So, but honestly, I really want to give, and he hates compliments, but I've really never seen anybody work as hard as I've seen Jared work, and not just here, taking care of his mom, being an upstanding citizen, and being a mentor to so many kids, including my own. It's a gift. It's a gift to be part of this. So you guys should all come and check out the games. All right.
And,
Well-
and Jared, thank you for all the work you're doing. Same, Michael, with you, and we're really honored to have you on the show and talk about such a serious subject.
look forward to checking it out Friday night. Thank you guys for everything.
Thanks so much.
Take
Awesome.
care, guys.